Introducing the Cupra Born. My name's Ardil, welcome back to the channel. Some people say that electric cars don't have any life to them, they don't have any soul to them, and they're pretty boring overall. However, this one is about to change. This one's about to have the Cambridge car owning experience.
Hi, my name's Steve, and today we've got the Cupra Born electric vehicle for an audio upgrade. So let's check out what we're going to put inside it. So the first job we'll be doing will be soundproofing. So it'll be the doors stripped down, rear doors stripped down, and boots stripped down as well for soundproofing in the boot. On the electric vehicles, one of the key things they do to try and improve range is a lot of the panels will be thinner and lighter than on a normal like petrol or diesel vehicle. So the soundproofing is a little bit more of a challenge to stop any vibrations there. But we tend to even distribute the soundproofing throughout the vehicle, putting enough to stop the rattling while still maintaining as little extra weight to the vehicle as possible. In addition to that as well, on this vehicle, we'll also be fitting the new Audison Voce 2 range. First ones we've seen of these, so it'll be interesting to see how these sound in the car. Once we've put those into the front, we'll then be putting the primers into the rears, and then the amplifier wise as well, keeping the weight down and the size down, will be one of the amplifier Audison Voces. Nice small amplifier, digital internals, so it's light, it's got very little power draw, so it's great for range, and it's also not particularly heavy as well, and small and compact too. In addition to everything else, we'll also be fitting the active sub in the boot, which we'll go into later on. So we've got the door card soundproof now. We've done the flat area, which is a large surface area here. Now at the top of the door card, we'd normally put a soundproof into as well. But as it's an electric vehicle, they tend to get the plastic thinner for the door card and then have these fins on the back to strengthen it and keeps the weight down. So what we do in this case, we'll be using a 6mm high density foam, and we'll be sticking that in place of the soundproofing onto the top here. Once that's all packed down and stuck to the cards, it gives us the sound proofing that we need. It stops the vibrations and also like a warning there. So we've got the soundproofing finished on the main door part, all the panels done on here. We've also finished doing the section that will be on to replace here. Now, final part we will do after we've got the new cables ran through is we'll be adding something called wave diffuser. This is a high density foam again, but it has a textured finish on the top, a little bit like an egg box. And the idea is that will fix behind the speaker down here, stick onto the door card directly behind the speaker, so as the sound waves come from the speaker back towards the panel, rather than hitting a flat door and reflecting straight back on themselves, each wave will hit and reflect at a different angle, so it kind of scatters the reflected sound waves, which allows for a better sound from the speaker. So most of the front of the vehicle is practically done now, so we'll move on to the boot area. We've already soundproofed the floor, the boot sides, and ran all the cables from the front of the vehicle to the looms on the back here. The next step we'll be doing is going to be mounting the subwoofer onto the floor base of the vehicle to get decent bass transfer. Then next to that, I've put a panel. On that panel, we're going to bring up a bracket to lift the amplifier up so that the amplifier sits at the same height as the subwoofer does, so we can then put a beauty panel on top of both, which will give us just a window for the amplifier and a window for the subwoofer. At the back of that section, once we've got to the product we need on there, the floor will be cutting down to the original floor level, so we can utilise this cubbyhole space in here so the customer can still retain putting his charging cables and leads and have some storage space in the boot still. And then once he's finished that, his original boot floor will go over the top of everything, so effectively you won't really tell anything's in there, apart from you'll have lost possibly this much boot space, which he's happy about.
the Cupra Born project. Absolutely phenomenal. This car has come such a long way in terms of the sound system on the vehicle. So you've seen obviously the install all take place. The team done a fantastic job on giving our client exactly what they were after. But now it's time. I'm just going to run you through final spec of the system and go through everything in a little bit more detail. So we are later on going to actually be able to listen to the system. We've got our new microphone set up. We're going to be able to sit in that car with me and enjoy and experience this insane system with me alongside me. So firstly, what did the car come with? Car came with the system from Cupra, which is basically a tweeter which sits on the A-pillar, a mid-bass driver down in the bottom of the door, and then it came with what looked to be, to the untrained eye, a tweeter location here and a mid-bass driver. However, no designated sub, no factory amplifier, and this is a little bit of a lie. So this, where the location for a tweeter is, there was actually no tweeter there at all. So it was a two-way front end, a mid-bass driver in the bottom of the door, and no depth of sound because there was no sub, no real power because there was no amplification. And I know you guys are going to be thinking, well, on an electric car, you don't want to be affecting range. This whole system is very, very, very minimalistic in terms of weight addition, and also the amplification stage that we're using has incredibly low draw, all designed for the electric car market and future-proofing. And that is why we use Audison, because they are thinking ahead. They're thinking about the electric car market, and that is why this system is absolutely perfect for it. So heading over firstly to the front end of the car, this is using the new Audison Voce lineup. So we've got the Audison Voce tweeter and mid-bass driver in the front doors, and we've also acoustically deadened front doors, rear doors and boot area. Covered those areas fully and absolutely perfectly across those areas there. What we've actually got done also into the location just by the kind of area just below the vent on the driver's side, we've also added the Audison DRC AC. This is really cool because you get sub-level control from that, but also what you get on that controller is also different ability to have different EQs. So what we've set is one for driver focus, which you'll listen to shortly, but we've also got central focus as well as different equalization depending on client's music taste. And the way we tailor that is because we actually take a couple of songs, between 5 or 10 songs from the end user of this new system, the owner of the car, to be able to actually tune it to their music taste and actually tailor the actual tuning to them as well. So we set it up to be obviously correct, and then we move over and use it for the setup. Over onto the rear doors, we've actually used that tweeter location, and all the adapters that we're using is all 3D printed in-house, designed for our clients. So we've got the tweeter and also the mid-bass driver, and these are out of the Audison Prima range. These are actually running all fully active, so we're using no crossovers in the system because we are using a 12-channel DSP amplifier. The Audison Forza 12 channel is running fully active, and you might be thinking, well, actually I've not got 12 channels here, but you do. Because we're bridging on the mid-bass drivers, so we've got individual channels going to tweeters, front and rear, and then we're bridging on both the front and rear mid-bass, and that gives a hell of a lot more kick. In the boot area, we've done something a little bit special for our client as well. So into the boot area, what the client was after is basically a flat floor to still be able to load things in top. Obviously the factory floor, I haven't got it here at the moment, but that just basically sits on top of all of this. We've got the Audison Prima 10-inch active sub, we've got the Audison 12-channel amplifier, we've built into a custom little enclosure here, which is really nice. We've got the Cambridge Cardio emblem up on top, we've also got retained storage area down at the bottom. So this is things for like your charging cable can sit into there, and then the factory floor sits on top. Obviously we have had to raise the floor up from the factory location point to allow for the sub, but it still allows you then to have a flat surface then to load all of your shopping in, which is really nice. And it comes up with the factory floor, so it sits just below where the panel here sits, so it still gives you plenty of boot space, but also space for the charging cables, which is really nice as well. But the 12-channel DSP allows us to tune the system as well as running that fully active system, allowing us to have full control over the system. Obviously, again, acoustically deadened using the skins 3mm layer as you saw earlier in today's video. But that is enough talking for now. Let's jump inside this vehicle and show you how it sounds. So here is the moment you've all been waiting for, because this is where you guys get to listen to it with me and enjoy the experience that this is. Your setup, I'm going to be listening to this microphone setup that we've got set up in the driver's seat, because everything is time aligned to that driver position. I'm going to shut up for a few minutes and you guys will be able to listen to the final results. So I'm going to play a couple of tracks for you and enjoy, guys.
A place that I'd rather be. I've been searching for my own destiny. I raise my gun to the sky and scream out loud. This is my life, this is my hope, this is what not to lose the game. The darkest night is always seen. Wait on the nothing, we're face to face.
The control of everything is just incredible.
I used to dream about money, about a big house, but all I want is you. Your touch of fire when you love me, desirable, attainable, yeah, all I want is you. We are all the same, fame, attention, confirmation. Why do we care? What is it worth? What is it worth? We are all the same. We want to be loved, but that is not the same as being loved by you. We are all the same. We want to be loved, but that is not the same as when I'm
Is absolutely bonkers in here. Really happy with the final results. Full factory look, adding that tweeter where it didn't have it, adding the sub, adding amplification. This car is now ready to hit the road. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. I'll see you on the next one.